stilettofiles.com. First of all, happy 2020, happy new year. We have set foot into a fresh decade, and that's super exciting. And I'm so excited to see what all is in store for myself, for TSF. I'm just very excited to not only see what everything that's in store for me, but to see what's in store for you all, who you are like my sisters. I have created this sisterhood just for us to be able to celebrate and uplift each other, and I'm so excited to hear all of the different things that you all have going on. So be sure to join my private Facebook group. It is called the TSF Sisterhood. You can find it everywhere. You can go onto my website and you can click the link there, the icon for Facebook. You can find it in my link tree on my Instagram, or if you're on Facebook, you can go to the Stiletto Files Facebook page and click Visit Group. We would love to have you in the group. So today, guys, I am coming to you to talk about the wonderful subject of, drumroll please, vulnerability. So I do in my private Facebook group a thing called Sip and Learns, and during that Sip and Learn, it's just a casual time for us to come together and learn from each other. So we have a list of different topics that we go through, and you get to watch me in the comfort of your own home, chat with me, and we discuss things. So a lot of people don't know, not only am I a spiritualist, so yes, I do have a lot of what I discuss coming from my spiritual background, but I'm also a therapist by day. So a lot of times we talk about things from understanding tarot cards all the way down to boundaries, what that means and how to set them. So we have a variety of things that we talk about. I said that in 2020 I was going to shift over and do some of my Sip and Learn topics here on YouTube so that everyone can have access to it, and so that you all can be a part of the sisterhood. You don't have to be in the private Facebook group. When you support TSF, you are a sister, and we appreciate you. So vulnerability. Y'all, it's not fun. It is not exciting to even say the word vulnerability. Brings up a lot of emotions. You might notice a lot of anxiety that comes up, a lot of like, oh hell no, that comes up. But keep in mind that vulnerability is necessary in every relationship. When I talk about vulnerability, and I say it a lot in my blogs because I have to model that, because I am asking, you all to be vulnerable with me. I have to be vulnerable with you. So even in my blogs, I talk a lot about vulnerability and what that means. But first, when we think about the word vulnerability, know that what we're saying is it means to confront the shadow sides of yourself, or to be able to sit in being able to be comfortable with discomfort. So sitting in discomfort and really not embracing it, because a lot of times when we think about something that's uncomfortable or it causes us some type of discomfort, we want to run away from it naturally. But with vulnerability, it is sitting in it, it is being prideful in it, but it is sitting still and saying, okay, this has made me uncomfortable. It has brought up some things. It is bringing awareness to whatever those things of your shadow self that it has brought up. And when I say shadow self, that is the hidden parts of ourselves. That's the toxic parts of ourselves, the things that we keep hidden deep down into the surface until sometimes we're activated. Something can happen, someone can say something, we're activated, and we realize we can then see more of our shadow self. There's a thing in spirituality called shadow work, where you do a lot of different work with your shadow self to help you evolve and grow. And that whole process is vulnerability. If you're not comfortable with vulnerability, how can you confront the inner beings that are not so pretty within yourself? And a way to become comfortable with vulnerability is to first become comfortable with yourself. Know that there's going to be times where things are going to come up and you're going to be like, ooh. It's almost like, when you're interacting with people, there may be a time where a person, you think like, oh, this is a toxic situation, and you naturally say, oh, they're toxic, it's them. It could actually be you. It could be you that's a toxic person, but sometimes we don't realize that. So I want you to begin to really embrace your shadow side, because your shadow side is what's going to help you grow. And in order to embrace it, you have to be involved in vulnerability. In relationships, it's constant. When you're, especially in intimate relationships, and I give the personal example of me and my partner and I are always in a state of vulnerability, because we are willing to be uncomfortable, to grow with each other, to be able to communicate when something is going on. And it did take us a minute, and we're still growing in that. But it is a matter of, we both naturally had the instinct to run. When we get uncomfortable, we are running. We're on the first flight out. We are like, fuck that, I'm dipping out of this. And I think that in this partnership, we've learned that in order to build that foundation, we have to reveal our shadow selves to each other, the parts of ourselves that may not be the most pretty. And vulnerability is necessary in an intimate relationship, but it's also necessary with your friends, necessary with your friends as well, because that is how you end up having these very surface level friendships that you still feel like you don't have that connectiveness, like you're not connected. It's like, yes, I have friends, but you notice that sometimes when those times when you're emotional and you need somebody, it may feel like no one's there, even though you know you have friends. And that is because that relationship may lack vulnerability. It may be that you two aren't vulnerable with each other, or this group of friends, you're not vulnerable with each other. You're there in times of happiness, you're there when things are exciting, which is great. But there may be a lack of that vulnerability, which makes you still feel like I have no one, even when you do. And there's also, I think it's important to understand that when you're vulnerable, and vulnerability is not weakness. And a lot of times the human brain and our human nature we want to make sense of things, and we got to have a compare and contrast. And it's like it has to be something mutually exclusive with the other. So we may feel that vulnerability, to be vulnerable, is equal to being weak, or being emotional is equal to being weak. And we have to redefine what weakness means to us, and redefine your own life definitions of weakness, because vulnerability is definitely not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It takes a lot to sit in discomfort and to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That takes a lot. So that is definitely not a sign of weakness at all. That is a sign of your strength. So if anyone ever tells you like, oh no, you're being vulnerable means you're so emotional all the time, first of all, it's okay to be in tune with your emotions. There's so many people around here that don't even know how they feel from day to day because they're functioning in autopilot. And it's good to be emotional, which means that you're in tune with yourself. That means you're being vulnerable with who you are, but it definitely doesn't equate to weakness. So what I want to challenge you all to do is to ask yourself, how can I be more vulnerable this week, or this month? Make that a goal. How can I be more vulnerable in my partnership with my partner? How can I be more vulnerable with my children or with my friends? How can I experience vulnerability? So yes, I am saying seek vulnerability, absolutely. How can I do that? And I encourage all of you to try that. See what you can do this week or this month, like I said, that you can push yourself to face your shadow side. Face the inner depths of yourself that you often hide or you don't want to go hand in hand with. So a lot of things, you may be activated by some things as you're beginning to do that. Of course, I'm going to give you a couple tips of things that you can do to begin to experience vulnerability and see the beauty of what vulnerability is. Journaling is definitely something that is super helpful. Sometimes I tell my clients in the therapy setting to just open up a piece of paper or open up your journal and go to a blank page and just write whatever comes to mind. If you're more someone that needs more prompts and journals, there's so many different awesome journals on Amazon. Check out my Instagram page. I have put up the personal journal that I use, which is a sort of a soul journey. I also have another journal called Choose Your Own Journey, and I'll put all that information down below where you can purchase both of those journals, that you can begin to understand yourself and begin to experience vulnerability with yourself. And I encourage you all to do it. Now, when it comes to relationships and your partnerships, a way that you can, and a tip that you can use to become more vulnerable with your partner, is to open up your mouth. Talk to them about how you're feeling. If something brings up some discomfort, even if you're not aware of what it is, a lot of times we think we need to present ourselves in this pretty little package to our partners and be so articulate in how we think and feel. Sometimes you have to think things through with your partner. A lot of times I tell my partner, babe, I'm just talking, I'm thinking out loud, trying to process this, so that she knows that This is not about to sound remotely articulate or well put together, but I just need to explain how I feel. And I think that's important for you to do. Begin to say, okay, I'm feeling something, babe. I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling something. And then be able to process that with your partner. And that invites your partner to be able to be vulnerable with you as well. So comment below how it goes being vulnerable. We'll be talking about vulnerability all month in my group on Facebook. Like I said, it's called a TSF Sisterhood. So feel free to start this dialogue down below in my comments, or you can join my private Facebook, or both, where we'll be talking about vulnerability all month of January. Thank you guys for spending some time with me today. These talks are always from the dome, so if something doesn't make sense, I apologize. But I definitely don't like to come into things. I like to be authentically me, and I feel like if I like write it out or script it out, it just doesn't come out in the most authentic way. So I just like to pull my camera out and talk to you guys directly of what's in my mind and in my spirit and heart. I'm sending you all so much love and light, and I will see you on the next reading. Oh, this is not a reading. See, I'm so used to saying that, y'all. Watch my next reading. But I'll see you on the next video. Again, thank you for spending some time with me today, guys. Bye.